Hello, welcome to Spread Book Joy, welcome to my garden. Today I'm doing the Moody Reader Tag. My cat likes to lie in the mud at this time of night when the sun's gone down from the garden. This little boy, he's so sweet. And then he comes in stinking. Oh look. Bees loving the lavender. Bed. Little stripy tail. Like, why are you filming me? If you're new to the channel, I'm Jack, and today I'm doing the Moody Reader Tag. I was tagged by Misa from Books and Sushi, and I decided to do it in the garden for a couple of reasons, which will become apparent as we go through. The original tag was created by Brittany from Slanted Spines, and I'll link that in the description box below. You should always go and watch the original video, and I'll link Misa's video as well, but I'll also link a couple of other really good Moody Book Tag videos, which I really enjoyed. One is Pay from Attention, brilliant Moody Book Tag, and Ariel from Reading and Whatnot. So they're both excellent videos, which I watched a little while ago actually, and I thought about doing this tag, but this is the first time I've actually been tagged by someone, so thank you, Misa. I was really pleased about that. And yeah, so let's get into it. It's actually quite timely, this, for me, because if you watched my May reading wrap up, you'll see that I did say I didn't have a enjoyable reading month, even though I read some books that I loved, because I was really tied into lots of commitments for reading, and I'm a mood reader, so I like to do my own I like to have freedom and flexibility. The reason I'm in the garden as well, I'll talk about in a bit. Julie from The Hungry Bookworm, whose channel I'll link below as well, who's really lovely. She does her videos in lots of different locations to try and give some different background, I suppose, and just like give some variety, and just makes her videos more interesting, really. And I said in her video last week, my partner Dave has said you should film in the garden, and I said I'm terrified of filming in the garden because I don't even like filming in front of Dave. He's gone out for the evening, and I like filming when he's out of the house because I just feel more relaxed and less silly talking to a camera. So if my neighbours, who are all surrounding me, are listening and watching, I'm going to be quite embarrassed. But if I'm putting myself out there on the internet, why should I be embarrassed about doing this in my garden? And my garden's looking lovely at the moment. It's all, trimmed and really nice. So anyway, I'm going to get into the Moody Book Tag. There's another reason why I've come into the garden for it. Question 1, do you consider yourself a mood reader? Well, yes, of course, I'm doing this tag. Yeah, I am a mood reader. I do plan some of my reading, I have to, but I like to leave flexibility for my reading because I really like to. I've discovered that if you get into a reading slump, I used to be the sort of person who would make a TBR and try and stick to it, and then I found that I'd be dragging, like, it would take me ages to finish any books, and you get into a reading slump, and if you don't want to pick up a book, then you're going to be in a reading slump. So I know that I'm a mood reader because what I do now is I won't persevere with a book I'm not enjoying. I'll DNF it, and I'll pick up something that I'm interested in. And my interests, when I get interested in something, I get really obsessive about things. So, example, I watched Bohemian Rhapsody a little while ago, and I thought there's got to be a better biography of Freddie Mercury out there. So I found one which I really enjoyed, Somebody to Love, which was also a kind of story of the AIDS epidemic alongside his biography. I thought it was excellent. And then I read and watched everything I could find, get my hands on, about Queen and Freddie Mercury, because I got down this sort of rabbit hole and I get a bit obsessive. So I like to just follow my nose and follow my interests, and I find I read a lot more that way. Anyway, I've spent too long on question 1. Let's get on to question 2. Do you set TBR lists and do you stick to them? I have set TBR lists. I do set TBR lists. I think I'm going to read certain things. I have a pile of books beside my bed that I call my TBR that then I never touch. And I will be setting a TBR for Jane Austen July because I love it. but I never really stick to it. I might write a TBR out, but I'll deviate from it. I don't think I've ever completed one that I've set. Misa had a nice way of putting it. TBRs are fun to make because they're like window shopping, and it's fun to think of lists of books, and I'm a list maker, so it's actually quite fun to think of them, but I never really complete them. Question 3 is, do books affect you emotionally? Sorry if there's a bit of wind on I need one of those little things to cover my microphone. Do books affect you emotionally? Yes, they do. They affect me emotionally. I mean, part of the pleasure of reading, isn't it, to be affected emotionally and to enjoy books so much that they, that you fall in love with the characters, or that you cry when they cry, or that you feel for them, or you feel heartbreak or empathy, because that's one of the best things about reading. It's one of the things I love about teaching children to read, is that readers are empathetic people. So of course I get involved emotionally. They do affect me emotionally, and you do get book hangover. I got one the other day actually, which I'll probably talk about in a minute, because there's another question about the last book that made you cry or something coming up, I think. When you're feeling sad, what do you read, or do you not read when you're sad? Sorry if my camera's shaking. My table in the garden's a bit wobbly, so so when I'm sad, I don't tend to read. I tend to watch TV because it's just easy and I don't need to think about it. Or I'll read children's books, and I don't mean children's books that are new. I mean the books that I read when I was a child that I loved, because I get a lot of comfort from them. Actually, that's not quite true, because I also tend to listen to or read Harry Potter, because I love Harry Potter, and I didn't read those as a child. They were published when I was in my 20s. So, but yeah, stuff that's comforting and light-ish, because in January, February I had a bit of a reading slump, and I felt a bit, I think we all did, didn't we, with lockdown in the UK, a bit depressed, so I was reading lots of Enid Blyton. That's what I do. Question 5, most often do you use reading to escape, to learn, or to critically reflect? All of the above. Escapism's probably, escapism and learning are kind of tied, really. I learned so much from reading, and that's why I like historical fiction. I learned a lot of my history from historical fiction, even though I know it's not necessarily accurate, but it sparks off an interest. And then I do that thing that I did with Bohemian Rhapsody, where I then go and find actual books that are highly rated, recommended and accurate, and learn a bit more about whatever I've been reading about. And to critically reflect, not so much, but I'm trying to be more critical because I'm reviewing books, and I've joined a group of reviewers who critically review children's books, so I'm trying to be more of a reflective reader, because I'm having to think about why I like books and why I'm recommending books and things like that. Oh, the sun's come out. Lovely. So all of them really, but mostly escapism and learning. 6, what is a book that made you laugh out loud? Lots of books make me laugh out loud. Terry Pratchett, of course, the Discworld books. I laughed out loud the other day about one of those. Bill Bryson always makes me laugh. I'm a huge fan of Bill Bryson, his travel books, his earlier books, and they're books actually that I listen to or revisit when I'm feeling a bit down, actually. There was a really, really good book about the NHS. Oh, what was it called? Oh, it's really famous in the UK. Basically, it was a medical journal from a doctor, and it was released. He did a Christmas version as well. I can't remember. I'll put a picture of it up here when I find it. This Is Going to Hurt. That was it. Adam Kay is the doctor, who's now doctor turned comedian, or I can't remember. But he wrote a book called This Is Going to Hurt, and it's made me cry and laugh, because it's a memoir of his time as a junior doctor on the NHS, and some of it's just absolutely laugh out loud hilarious. I'm sure I'll think of more things that make me laugh after I've filmed this. Number 7, what is a book that made you cry? Well, one made me cry the other day, and that was Where the Crawdads Sing. I'm probably the last person on BookTube to read that book, and that gave me a bit of a book hangover, actually. I finished it here, and it did make me cry at the end. And The Mercies by Kieran Millwood Hargrave, that made me cry. I cry a lot though, so this isn't, I don't really cry a lot of books. I cry a lot at TV and things like that, but those are books that made me cry. You can probably hear my neighbours in the background though. This is another reason why I wouldn't film outside. We've got like a million gardens all surrounding each other. So I'm being very brave at the moment. Being out here. You can hear that I'm talking quite quietly though, so maybe I'm not being that brave, but here we go. What is a book that you didn't even know how you felt about? Oh, another book that made me cry, just to go back to that. Captain Corelli's Mandolin was one of the books that I always remember making me cry buckets at the end. No spoilers, but yeah, that really made me cry. Books with animals in always make me cry for some reason. I get really emotional about books about pets and animals. There was a book called I, Cosmo by Carly Soroziak, a middle grade book. It's about this lovely Labrador, and he's telling the story about this family. He's an old Labrador and an old pet, and he's just so loyal and trusting and loving, and it just, made me a little bit emotional. Question 8, what is a book you didn't even know how you felt about? Kind of at the moment, A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. I'm at the very end of it, and I'm going to have to give that one some thought time to figure out how I feel about it. Complex thoughts on that one, I think. Maybe not complex at all. I don't know, I'm percolating that one. I can't figure out what I feel about that one at the moment. But generally I have quite straightforward reactions to books, so that's not really one that occurs very often. Are you most likely to read on a sunny or a cloudy day? And this also ties in with, do you usually set the mood, which is the next question, which is quite funny when Pay answers that from attention. I'll read on a sunny day or a cloudy day, doesn't matter, the weather doesn't matter to me. But the next one, number 9, question 10, do you usually set the mood when you read? Music, lights, smells, etc. So you have to watch Pay's answer for this question. It made me laugh. He said, "It doesn't sound like you're going to read the book," which really made me laugh. But anyway, no, I don't set the mood, but I do love reading outdoors, and I know Misa doesn't. I do have candles and things like that are like, there's a really great, if you like nice candles, sorry, this is London, there's a really great, there's some really wonderful sort of candle makers now who do book related candles that are supposed to smell like things, and I've got some really lovely ones from, I can't remember their name, but they're a small UK business, and I'll pop their details in the description box below. But I've got these candles, but I don't usually put them on when I'm reading. I don't dim the lights or put on music. I like silence when I'm reading, generally, unless there's a background noise, and then I will put music on to drown out the background noise. But generally I like silence, and that's about it. I do like to read outside, and I know Misa doesn't. I love it, and this is why I love the summer. The reason I like to read outside is because I don't have the distractions of being indoors. You know, my TV, my laptop, all those things around me. So I try and just come out with my book, leave my phone inside if I can. That's why I like reading outside. So this summer I get more reading done sometimes in the summer than I do in the winter, because I spend more reading time, committed reading time. Question 11, can you leap from book to book, or do you need buffer time between them? Nope, I'm always reading more than one book. So I'm always reading about 3 or 4 books. I've usually got an audiobook on the go, one that's just an audiobook that I can listen to at night because I'm a bit of an insomniac. I've usually got a reread of some kind on the go as a comfort. I've usually got a children's book, a non-fiction, and whatever the latest fiction book I need to read is going on. Sometimes though you do get a book that just knocks you for 6 and you can't read anything for the rest of the day, which is where the crawdads sing. That did that for me the other day. So that's it. It's really timely, this, like I said, because the whole moody reading thing, I'm trying to figure out how I do scheduled things and read-alongs and buddy reads and things like that without ruining my tendencies to mood read and my enjoyment of being able to follow my interests and follow my feelings at the time. So I've decided that I should just, never do more than one buddy read or group read per month, really, because otherwise I'll be really tied into things, and I won't be able to follow any interest and stuff. I just need some wiggle room, basically. As someone who started up a booktube channel and a bookstagram, you discover that if you want to start reading advanced reader copies, if you want to do these things, you're going to have to do some scheduled reading, and that's fine, but I just also need the wiggle room. So yeah. If you want to do this tag, I'm not going to tag anyone because I don't know who really is a mood reader, but if you're watching this and you are, consider yourself tagged, and please, I'd love to hear what your answers are to this. And if you like this, please click like, please comment, and I'll see you again soon.